Wild West Falls is the spectacular log flume at Warner Bros. Movie World in Australia. This ride features Western theming, a giant mountain facade, and thrilling drops. All these reasons are why I think this is the best log flume in the Southern Hemisphere. I will explain why in this review. This ride opened on Boxing Day 1998 as Wild Wild West. The ride was named after the upcoming 1999 film of the same name starring Will Smith and Kevin Kline. Before tying the ride in with an upcoming film, it was going to be named Rio Bravo, after the classic 1959 film starring John Wayne. When Parque Warner Madrid opened in 2002, they received a very similar log flume. Their version would have some key differences I will highlight throughout the review. First and foremost, this one was named Rio Bravo. Second, it was fabricated by Intamin. The version in Australia was made by Hopkins Rides. It specifically was one of their Super Flume models, which can also be found with Bugs' Whitewater Rapids at Six Flags Fiesta Texas and Daredevil Falls at Dollywood. This had two advantages to your traditional log flume. 1. The boats were larger. Each could seat 8 riders and 4 rows of 2. 2. The drops could be wilder. Each of these versions features drops larger and steeper than a conventional flume. Due to a licensing dispute, the Australian flume's name was changed to Wild West Falls Adventure Ride in 2001. The ride anchors a Western-themed section of Movie World in the back corner of the park. You have all sorts of shops and games, but all eyes are drawn to the ride's gigantic 115-foot or 35-meter tall mountain. Imagine Splash Mountain's ride system crossed with the looks of Big Thunder Mountain, and you have this ride. The golden brown coloring and detailed rockwork looks fantastic. The ride's good looks are even more impressive since it has been the victim of not one, but 2 separate fires. I don't have any photos of the first, but a November 1998 article mentioned there was one before the ride even opened. The second occurred in 2003. The ride amazingly reopened just a few weeks later. No official cause was given for the second blaze, but the ride originally had spark effects in the final lift inside the mountain. These have been missing for decades since. It is possible these either contributed to the accident or were removed as a precaution. Despite the name change, the ride still plays music and video from Wild Wild West in the queue line, and be prepared to wait a while for this one. Do not be surprised if it has the longest line in the park. It's not only super popular, but recent changes significantly hurt its capacity. The ride originally had a moving load and unload station like the Super Flumes in America. In 2021, the station was modified so boats would stop while guests entered and exited. The ride's theoretical capacity was listed as 1,440 people per hour in its early years, but now Movie World states the ride has an hourly capacity of 600 riders per hour with 10 boats on the course. That is one heck of a reduction. This may be the most extreme ride in Australia that allows you to keep your loose articles with you. I was pleasantly surprised I could keep my glasses on to see all the theming. And I was also surprised you brought your bag with you, but this does cause one complication during loading. Once you're seated, you are instructed to raise your bag into the air. This is one of the rare flumes with lap bars. They're comfortable and not too intrusive, but you have to wait until the bar is lowered before putting your bag on the floor. The employees will keep telling you to do this, but people will still miss this step, causing their bag to get tangled with the lap bar, further slowing the load process. So what is the best way to avoid a wait for this ride? There are a few options. First, head there first thing in the morning. It's in the back corner of the park, so few people make it their first ride. Second, use the single rider line. I was very surprised to see one here, but it looked pretty short during my visit. 3. Use the virtual queue. This is a free service included with your park ticket. You can reserve one ride at a time on the park app. Once your time is called, you have a half hour to return. Once you use your pass or it expires, you can book another, and you are free to keep booking Wild West Falls over and over if you'd so like. Return times will run out on most busy days. Times for this ride did not deplete as fast as their headlining coasters at least. 4. Use the paid Fast Track service. This is a pricey skip the line pass, but it can be a major time saver if the park is slammed and virtual queue times are running out. You are routed right into the station using the same line as the virtual queue. You can either purchase the full system, which gives you one-time access to all the park's major rides, or you can purchase single shots. The latter costs roughly 20 to 30 Australian dollars per person per ride depending on the day. At the end of the queue, 8 people are given a row. I find your seat makes a major difference on some flumes, but this one rode similarly in all rows, both in terms of sensations and the wetness. Maybe just ask for the front if you're on the shorter side and want an unobstructed view. Once dispatched, you slowly float towards Lift 1. You pass some themed wooden buildings, one of which I believe serves as the maintenance shed. Towards the end of this section, there's this giant crane overhead that swivels back and forth. This was fixed recently during a refurb. You then head up the first chain lift. It's not overly tall, but it ends by burrowing into the mountain. You pass several signs warning you of upcoming danger. These include rock slides, unstable ground, and violent settlers. You stop on a turntable, and a video screen appears with some cowboys. Overall, this ride's theming is spectacular, but the one critique I have is that the video quality is due for an update. It's grainy and looks like it was from the 80s. The cowboys laugh and heckle at you while you rotate counterclockwise. They then fire at you. No physical effect, it is just a loud blast with a flash on the screen. You then move backwards down the first drop. I knew it was coming, but it was still quite enjoyable because it was entirely in the dark. You then have a little bunny hill afterwards with some floater airtime. Very good airtime for a flume, but not nearly as intense as its sister in Spain. If you're unfamiliar with Rio Bravo, that ride is one of the scariest airtime moments of any ride. That bunny hill is a lot sharper, and you have no restraints. It delivers an ejector pop rivaling those final bunny hills in Phoenix at Knoebels. I am stunned no one has been thrown from that ride at this point, to be honest. But back to Wild West Falls. You head back outdoors after that bunny hill, and the resultant splash delivers a small spritzing. You then float backwards. It's a peaceful section. You're boxed in by big trees and some rockwork adjacent to the trough. I expected there to be a second turntable to direct you forwards, but instead, you head into this outlet. A tire then moves your boat sideways. You then exit the outlet going forwards. It was a much different system than I expected. The forwards bit begins by staring at Old Faithful. A massive geyser erupts. It goes off before you're too close, so you will not get wet from it. You then continue down the channel at a faster speed and have much larger rocks on both sides. A sign warns you of falling rocks. A few of the boulders fittingly move. You hear some crumbling sounds and people yelling in fear. It is a simple but nice effect. Your journey continues past a wrecked train. It may be wiped out, but it still blows its whistle. You then pass some teepees, again accompanied by an audio effect, and then you head through Dodge City. This is a famous town in the Old West lore known for violence and gunfights. You pass a graveyard with some cleverly named folk, and then you pass under a sign bearing the town's name and population. As you pass under it, the population number swivels downwards, suggesting another fatality just occurred. You then pass a series of detailed storefronts. You have some nice background Western audio, plus some effects. You'll hear some gunfire, and multiple doors and windows will swing open as you pass them. The end of this section takes you past a holy water tower, but right before you head under it, the water cuts off, keeping you dry. You then enter a shed lined with dynamite and head up the second lift hill. This lift is far larger. This is where the spark effects used to be. Now, you just have some ominous red lighting and hollering on the way up. You are warned the whole place is gonna blow. You enter a room lined with explosives and climb onto a turntable. You then rotate counterclockwise towards wooden doors. They then open and you hear a loud explosion effect as you head outdoors. While this is a nice final show scene, it sounded much better when it originally opened. A barrel started to comically expand, which looked really neat, and then the explosion was accompanied by a blast of wind that pushes you out the mountain. This scene leads into the climactic 7-story plunge. That is quite tall for a flume, and it is a great drop. It is the same height as the drop in Daredevil Falls at Dollywood, and it feels similar. You get a tiny pop of airtime and good zip the whole way down. Then you have the final splash. This is the wettest part of the ride by far. Not only do you have a sizable splash, but the runoff is lined with these giant geysers that erupt in unison. This splash gets your upper body quite wet, but it thankfully keeps your feet dry. That's the perfect amount of wetness in my opinion. It's refreshing without ruining your mobility. You then return to the station, ending your nearly 6-minute long journey. That is quite long for any flume, especially one as well themed as this. So what would I rate Wild West Falls? This log flume easily earns a perfect 10 out of 10. This is an exceptional water ride. The ride system alone is quite impressive. You have 2 really good drops, one backwards and one really large, but the overall experience is elevated mightily by the extensive theming. You have detailed sets. This includes the beautiful mountain, elaborate rockwork, and that extended Dodge City section, but it goes beyond the visuals. You also have good use of audio. As for how this ranks to other flumes out there, it is definitely near the top. The only one I absolutely prefer to Wild West Falls is Splash Mountain, any iteration across the world. But how does it compare to Rio Bravo? The one in Spain has the better thrills, primarily on that bunny hill, but Wild West Falls is superior theming. As you may have surmised, I would take this over most roller coasters I've ridden. I'm a big log flume fan to begin with, so when you give me a highly themed experience combined with a great drop or two, I'm going to love it. This is one of the best rides in all of Australia. So those are my thoughts on Wild West Falls at Warner Brothers Movie World. What are your thoughts on this log flume? Do you think it's one of the best out there? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you consider subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.